Protesters have lost a legal challenge to the New South Wales government's decision to grant police expanded powers during the visit of Israeli President Isaac Herzog. The visit's been warmly welcomed by many in the Australian Jewish community, but with protests against Mr Herzog's visit expected to be in the thousands, the feeling around the visit is charged with emotion. This morning, the President paid tribute to the victims of the Bondi terror attack, meeting with members of the Jewish community at the beach and laying a wreath at the pavilion. Extra security measures are in place in Sydney, with police having a visible and heavy presence. The visit's been declared a major event by the New South Wales government, meaning people who fail to comply with police directions could face fines of more than $5,000. In his speech at the Bondi Pavilion, the President said he's in Australia to comfort and console those in the Jewish community impacted by the attack in December.
In the aftermath of the attack, the people of Australia stood together in grief and solidarity with the Jewish community. The world's only Jewish state, the State of Israel and the Nation of Israel, stood together with the Australian people. We stood with Australian Jews, for we are one big family, and when one Jew is hurt, all Jews feel their pain. That is why I'm here today, to embrace and console the bereaved families.
Court reporter Jamie McKinnell has been across this over the last 48 hours and he joins us now. Jamie, g'day. So what does this decision mean for the protest that's due to get underway in around half an hour?
Hi there, Joe. Well, it basically means that the New South Wales Police Force and officers who are patrolling these protests will retain those expanded powers that they have when it comes to a major event declaration. Now, the Palestine Action Group had argued in the Supreme Court that the powers were far too broad and there had been a mismatch in the intention of the legislation that's in play here and the purpose that it's being used for. They were trying to argue in the Supreme Court that the Major Events Act is really usually aimed towards things like sporting events or cultural events. And they were saying that in this case, it's being used as a kind of backdoor way into preventing protests from happening when there is someone who they called a controversial figure on Australian shores. Now, a short time ago, Justice Robertson Wright made orders dismissing their case. So, in other words, the protesters have lost this legal challenge to the government's decision to make that major event declaration. He has not yet provided full reasons for his decision, which would normally happen in a judgment like this, and that is purely because of the expedited nature of this case. The judge said he'll hopefully plan to hand down the full reasons at a later date.